Yeah, whenever you're good.
Yeah, sounds like it's going okay so far, and yeah, all right, yeah, this is my first time doing this with Anchor, so this is all brand new as it is for you.
Yep, it's a good experience.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's actually nice because usually I do the longer interview style, and I have like the video going, and now I don't have to worry about lighting or my background or anything, so it's kind of nice.
And I've
All
locked
right,
my room.
so I don't want this to be like an interview, like we were, DMing each other. I really just kind of want to talk with you. I'm curious about where you are as an artist and what you're working on and whatnot.
Yep,
Um, so that's my goal.
just
All
chewed
right,
fat.
and we'll kind of follow the structure that I had done in my podcast. You're cool with that, right?
Yep, yep.
All right. Beyond that, I don't want to I don't know. I don't want a whole lot of structure to this. Just curious about you and where you're at and what you're working on and whatnot.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Well, why don't you say who you are first, and then we'll kind of talk about what you're working on.
All right, so I'm Luke from Lab 5 Studios on Instagram, where I follow Justin Prime here. Um, Probably been doing Instagram for probably for like the last year, I would say. I've sort of started getting onto it properly and a bit more seriously. And
You've so you've been taking Instagram more seriously.
yeah, like I'd sort of
Okay.
was on Facebook and never really sort of utilized Facebook very well. I did for Facebook for the sort of thing that we're doing. So Instagram seems like for us at the moment, and we've sort of got VERO coming up, which outside of technical issues, because it's got
It's
the
gotten a lot better though.
it is starting to get better. I was having trouble loading pages up for a number of days there, but now it seems to pop up pretty quick.
Yeah.
We've got a better interface. We can show better resolution images. No
Yeah.
cropping.
No, it's really nice. I like the actual links you could put in there.
Yeah, yeah. The music as well is very good.
Yeah, I've been really happy.
Really starting to pay attention to other artists and what they do as well, and really trying something new. Every piece I do, I try something new, if I can. Sort of really trying to push it. I guess I'm more in the realism and that sort of rolling back into the comic art stuff that I do.
Yeah, I see that you're really pushing the actual believability, textures and whatnot.
Yeah, usually I use textures a fair bit more than I used to, rather than just flats. So are you familiar with Boss Logic at all on Instagram?
Yeah, he does like the Photoshop editing of actual.
Yeah. So pretty much following some example from that. A lot of that sort of photo paint overs and things, I believe. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
he's from Melbourne, Australia here, so I consider him a local.
Oh,
Um,
really?
so yeah, I used him as quite a bit of influence there. Type images there, so I try and incorporate a little bit of real world texture and things into my pictures as well now.
Yeah, I see that.
Still
Well,
keeping it
you're
cartoony.
like your comic stuff is really cool though too. Like you posted that black and white thing from like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think today like that was really cool. And then you won the my design contest. Your design sense
yeah,
is
yeah.
super awesome. And thank you again by the way for participating in that.
That's good. That's good.
So
Um,
are you like abandoning the more comic kind of thing?
no, definitely not. Definitely not. The realistic stuff, I guess. Oh, I guess it's the social media balance, isn't it? You need to the engagement, as you spoke about in your last podcast. You do the fan arts for the engagement,
Yeah.
um, and to keep people interested to a degree. But surprisingly, that was how I probably thought of it at first. But then a lot of my original stuff had better response than the fan art things as well.
Oh, really?
So that's a very positive thing there for reinforcing.
That's really
Um,
cool. you'll if you my follower count in the next, actually, like really soon, because
Yep.
I'm about to stop doing the lunchtime requests. I'm about to stop doing a lot of the fan art kind of stuff, and focus on issue 3 of Sculpture Stories. And
Yeah.
you'll see my engagement drop dramatically.
Yeah, I pretty much have to do the same thing. Um, I've been doing my Dead Ronin series since 2010.
Yeah.
It was by 2013, it was on its third iteration. I worked on it for about 2 years. I took 2 years off, sort of lost all confidence in it. Didn't like the art style, sort of grew out of it.
Mm.
Took it to sort of, I didn't do much, I just drew around, and then took a year to like really, really draw and paint digitally. And then I've gotten back into a bit of a time jump and a stylistic jump, which
Yeah.
is, I think, pretty prominent. I think I'm making a little bit more gritty, um, in that manga influence.
Yeah, it's a huge difference what you're doing now, because I'm looking through your feed right now, and like I'm looking at the Venom that you did, which is, I think that's what really got me noticing you, was that Venom. And then directly before that there was this black and white manga kind of thing, and it's a huge difference. And then you have this like vector art symmetrical helmet thing.
Yeah, I'd never really done anything like that. I'm terrible with that sort of thing. I learned.
Really cool. Those are really cool.
I looked up how to get clean lines in Photoshop. The pen tool, the pathing tool. You set the paths and make it feel it that. It looks a lot more vector than what it really is. It's not vector at all.
Oh no.
So no, it's still Photoshop. It's just selections and fills.
So you have a few different styles going on. What do you feel like you're?
I honestly feel like I'm too inconsistent.
Mm.
I'm too inconsistent. I experiment. I change. I'm not. I don't have a defined style. I don't think. Um,
Mm.
and that, to me, that's a bit of a problem. I want to be consistent, especially with the comic stuff. Consistent and not change too much. But
But
you've got to grow and you've got to learn as well.
at the same time, though, like I know I'm averaging like one a year so far, and I grow a lot. I feel like I grow a lot each year, so it's not going to look the same as the previous year's issue.
Yeah, it's difficult when it's spread out like that.
Yeah, I'm not doing it month to month. I think you'll see a pretty big difference. I'm trying to keep the same basic style, I guess, but
Yep.
like I've been working a lot of my fundamentals recently. I think that'll show through, whereas the previous 2 issues I didn't do that. I don't know. So
Yeah, no. Like you've definitely you've got a good style there, and you've definitely locked it in. It conveys what needs to be shown on page very well. I've gone through, read both the Sculpture Stories 1 and 2 a couple of times now.
wow.
Especially in regards to researching for the competition, the Android competition.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah, a big part of that was actually lore building in my head, and the world building side of it.
Yeah.
Rather than just sort of, I'm going to draw an Android, I wanted to sort of really get into how that Android could exist in that world and within your brief, and provide
Uh-huh.
something that was relevant to that.
You nailed it, dude. You had DM'd me the initial, I guess, like sketch of it,
Yeah,
and that was like early on in the competition, and I'm like, that's it. And I let the competition go because I thought, maybe someone could do better, but I knew right away, like, that's it, that's the one.
yeah, yeah.
And
Well, that's the thing.
Go ahead.
As you sort of stated, it's sorry about that.
Yeah.
It was about design and not necessarily art. Like no one really knew what you were looking for, so anyone could have pulled something out of the hat.
Yeah, and I didn't know either. I just knew if it was there, I would know. Like if I saw it, I would know. And that's exactly the feeling I had when I saw your design. I was like, that is it. That's the one.
Yeah, I did. I
So
did like the first guy. I thought, oh, we'll take it a little further. We'll make it a little unusual, and then a little more unique.
well, where it went was really cool too. I think I can incorporate that. But but the more humanoid, 2-arm version, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what's the thing that you're working on right now? Do you have you've mentioned
All right.
actually
So
did you mention a project that you're actually working on right now?
yeah. I've got to do Dead Ronin. That's the one from 2010 onwards. I've
Wait,
got
hold on, what's it called again? I'll make sure it's clear. What do you call it?
it's Dead Ronin. Like he's a zombie samurai sort of guy.
Oh, Dead Ronin. I thought you. Oh wow, that's cool. All right. I
Yeah.
thought there was
Yeah.
something else you're working on.
There is. There always is. But that's the most immediate one, the first
Okay.
priority. So um, Dead Ronin's up to I'm about halfway inking issue 6 of 8.
Oh wow.
Um, and they're probably taking 6 months each.
Oh wow.
They're quite short. They're like 15 pages. Um,
Is it? Are you printing it?
no, no,
Okay.
not this stage. So 5 of those are on Comixology at this point.
Oh, okay.
Number 6 is coming along there. Um, yeah, it's I haven't really promoted them either though because this is the thing we are talking about, I guess, where we touched on briefly about the timing and how long it takes to produce
Yeah.
when you're creating part time. I sort of wanted to wait until I had like the full thing completed, or now that I've had like a stylistic split, I've got 2 volumes realistically. So
That's awesome.
once then I can promote the volumes as a whole and not have people wait such long periods in between. I guess the problem is there you don't get a lot of payoff in between if that's how you do it.
But I mean, I know it's taking a while, but yeah, you're right. Like if you did, I guess like a large graphic novel or anthology or two, that's really like you have it ready to go.
Yeah, yeah,
It makes sense. I know people on Kickstarter like that would probably get funded, if you want to go that route
yeah, yeah.
rather than
So at
just
this
you
point,
huh?
at this point, I put them up. I put them up on Comixology still, and I'll probably be looking into things like Comic Central and things soon as well. But I'll
I
put them up
keep
for
thinking
people.
that.
Yeah, I'll put them up for people who want to take a look at them, and they're pretty. Um, and then I'll release volume and I'll put some bonus stuff in that as well.
That's
And
awesome.
those. So
Okay.
that's that. So I've got a lot to do in there. Well, yeah, there's a bit of a story there too. So, sort of thinking about you were talking about your second Kickstarter campaign and things like that. Sort of got me thinking. Like, I think the second issue is always going to be tougher
I would
to
think
get
so.
promoted. I think my first issue, without any promotion, sold 75 copies, which I'm not going to sneeze at anything
No,
like that numbers wise, but a
no.
lot of people like to jump in at the number 1 level and they make their decision on the number 1 level if they continue or not.
Right.
So I think you're always it's number ones. It's like what like Marvel keep releasing number 1 in case they turn it into any.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, your number 2s and your 3s and 4s, you sometimes might get a bit of a hit on them, and that's exactly what I saw. I saw a lot of drop off. And I lost faith in my story and things like that.
Oh, really?
And it was actually a guy at work, like when I wasn't even working on it, said, "Hey, I bought your comic the other day. It's pretty cool." I'm like, "Yeah, story's crap though, whatever." And he goes, "You know what?" Yeah, yeah. He goes, "You know what? Sometimes I just don't want story. I just want to see shit go crazy, you know." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, you know what? That's a pretty cool philosophy." So I picked it back up, and now it's just about embracing the chaos and see how far I can push the insanity on this one.
That's exactly what I'm doing for issue 3. The story is pretty thin, but I'm pushing myself on the chaos.
Yeah, yeah. So I've yeah, that's awesome, man. You just gotta whatever direction it goes, you just gotta push the direction.
Yeah, totally. All right, so your project is what was it called? Dead Ronin?
Yeah, Dead Ronin is the current book which I want to get completed so I can move on to my next project.
Do you already have that planned out?
It's I'm working on like a vision book at the moment, which is a written and visual guide for it.
Hmm.
So again, that's my world building process with this one. I'm going to
Oh,
have
cool.
Dead Ronin's not written. Dead Ronin is not written at all. It's all out of my head, and that was probably a big mistake.
Like, like you're writing it as you draw it, like on the page.
Yeah, like I've got
Oh my
the
gosh.
bare bones scrap in my head. I've got the scrap in my head, and I've just sort of swing it as it goes. Um,
Interstate Ninja did the same thing.
yeah.
In
Um,
my when I was talking to him, he said that he basically he doesn't really write it out ahead of time. That just I don't know how you guys do that.
yeah. But you know, it's actually been pretty good because it's gestated for so long. It went from just like a zombie samurai versus monsters to incorporating a lot of things from Japanese folklore, monsters wise, you know. Um, and I'm tying
Mm,
back to some of the folklore stuff with it now, which is pretty cool.
nice.
Um,
All right.
but yeah, Chaos Reigns, the cyberpunk one, that's it's on the slow burn. Um, and it's a lot more grounded in sort of reality and no, I wouldn't really say politics, but you know, the sort of underbelly of society sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and that's tough. That's you want to capture the attitude and the mood and the style of that well. And I think you've probably seen a lot of the concepts. The concept's been rolling through my Instagram for a long time as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I haven't landed on anything 100% yet with that. So it's yeah, it's gestating and it's got to sort of be perfect.
Okay. So you have Dead Ronin, and then after that, Chaos Reigns.
Yep,
All right. I'm looking through your feed, dude. You you have a couple different styles. Plus,
a
it looks
lot.
like you dabble in cosplay.
I did that for a little bit. I don't really like cosplay, but I
Okay.
like building the gear, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I had a friend at work again who puts easily. He made Warhammer 40K suit that was actually it was about 7 foot tall. It was massive. Um,
oh.
and he sort of ran us through the process of building and being creative type. I'm like, I got to do it. So I've just I built for a couple of years, and you know, you put the time in, you've got to take it for a spin, don't you?
Well, I was just pointing that out. We don't have to go too far to that.
Yeah.
So those are the projects you're working on. Let's focus on Dead Ronin, okay?
Yeah.
So the challenge here is this past week, what progress did you make on Dead Ronin?
Very little. I've did a little bit of a visual wall. I know what I want to do with the page I'm up to, but I don't know how to lay it out well at this point in time.
Okay. All
Um,
right. So your stumble then would be you don't know what it looks like on the page.
yeah, so when I put my director's hat on, I'm not seeing that angle. I'm not seeing that angle.
I think a lot of times directors use scripts.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not in the movie business, but I think so. Do you think that writing it out would be helpful?
Um, well, not in this case. I know what I want. I know what's happening.
Okay.
Just I can't get the angle. I can't hit the angles of it. Or
Like
it
you
just looks
physically,
like
you're physically having a hard time drawing it, or you're having a hard time conceptualizing it, like in
I'm
your
having
head.
a hard time drawing it at the moment.
Oh, all right.
It's like I'll just run you through. In this panel you saw the manga. It was the manga panel you were talking about with the masked girl with all the lightning going on around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much a page after that. So this thing's like a lightning kitsune, lightning fox thing, and where the character disappears and appears where lightning sort of strikes. So what I was sort of thinking was having my villain in the center and multiple panels surrounding it somehow that go from a lit lightning strike to darkness to lightning strike to darkness sort of thing to show that flashing.
Yeah.
but not draw it out dark light, dark light, dark light sort of thing.
Okay.
So it's logistically, I need to show one character in three positions in one picture is what I'm thinking.
That sounds like a challenge.
So I don't know. Maybe I have to approach it in a different way, but that's sort of where I'm stuck with that now.
So
And
what
I
do you
sort of broke.
So go ahead.
I sort of broke the rules and stepped a few pages ahead and started working there.
So what do you do when? Oh, I guess you answered the question. Is what do you do when you're stuck like that? So you just move on to something else, clear your head, and come back.
Move on. Yeah, I sort of stop and think. And it's the same putting up progress pictures on Instagram. I put it's there as reference. I can open it up and I can have a look at it and I can start to see things that need to happen or need to change.
Yeah.
And just sort of gestate. Not to stop, I guess, if you can help it. Not to stop, keep working and moving forward.
Okay. All
But,
right. So then for Dead Ronin this past week, a stumble would be that you are kind of stuck on this page, right?
yeah.
What successes have you had with Dead Ronin this past week?
I have actually done some work on it this week.
Hey,
Yeah. No, I've been putting down some inks this week. I think. When did I put this one down? 7 days ago. So what I did was there's a guy with no arms wrapped in a snake monster. That was a few pages ahead in the next sort of section of story.
Okay.
So that big page, that's a full page, that one too. So
Oh yeah, I see that. That's good stuff right there.
it's a bit forward, and I can work on that section of the story. Sort of broken it into multiple pieces at this point.
All right.
Overlapping timelines.
I found okay. I found with myself that like I feel like maybe it might be necessary that I start to hold myself to a schedule. Do you ever do that for yourself?
Um, not often. Like I'll sort of, I guess in a loose way, I'll sort of go, I'd like to do 2 pages in a week, as a target. But if I'm feeling a bit stale, different, probably like a bigger picture, trying something a little bit different.
Right. But well, I guess so you and I are kind of in the similar boat as far as we're both working on our own, create our own comic. We do some fan art
Yep.
here and there. Do you think it would be helpful for us to be more like, okay, so I think it might be more helpful to be more scheduled and plan things out, which is
Yep.
very difficult with a family. But
Yes.
I will recognize that. But I'm kind of thinking, like, I probably should be stepping this up, because it's so easy to like get lost in like I'll draw Spider-Man tonight just because I feel like it, rather than
Yep.
what I need to be working on. So I'm thinking that might be helpful for people in our situation. I don't know. What do you think, man?
Yeah, you're right. You're right, and I have thought about it before.
Yeah.
Like, here's a planner, here's the calendar on the wall, and on a Monday I'll do this, and on a Tuesday I'll do this, etc. But yeah, I think planning is definitely important. But when you're on a limited schedule, the planning generally sacrifices something else anyway. So you sort of pick what
I'm sorry. Say it again. You broke up a little bit there.
usually to pick what's more fun.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
No,
But
you're
yeah,
right.
the live videos, and you're doing really well with it. Like I think that's why I follow you and respect you a lot. You seem to be doing so much stuff. You've got the podcast, you've got the live videos, you've got all of this stuff,
Yeah.
and you're fitting it. I imagine you're fitting it into a similar time frame that I am, and it's like I know all these things I should be doing, and I should be every bit of content I should be working on should be multiple layered. It should be of print quality. It should be on Instagram. It should have a video. It should have commentary.
Yeah.
And I should be hitting multiple levels of content by doing one thing.
Right.
that sort of efficiency. And I know I need to do it, but you know, when you got such time, the daunting task of setting it all up and learning it and understanding it is huge. Doing
It
this
does.
podcast now, this
I
is
can
all new and all different.
I can see that, but at the same time, like we're using this app right now, Anchor, and it was really easy, right?
Yeah, it's very very easy when I opened it up.
Yeah, it was super easy, and I get to talk to someone from Australia and
Yeah,
create like a mini podcast, learn about you. So the process for me is super fun. I genuinely enjoy this. Plus, I get to make content for people that are also curious. And there's already been people that have DM'd me similar to you who are very similar situations with kids who are
yep,
kind of feeling kind of stuck with art or not sure where to go. And it's like, that's where I'm at too, you know?
yeah,
So I'm creating this stuff for myself, but really I mean, it is for myself, but it also benefits other people. And it wasn't that hard, dude. All we had to do was download an app, sign up for it, and talk.
yeah. And you know, last night I hit Windows G and I had Xbox Windows recorder going.
Hey.
So
There you
yeah,
go.
that's what I mean. Like you're hitting all these things that I know I should be doing. I'm like, yeah, this is cool. I can see how my situation can work.
But is that a goal for you? Like, what's the point of you? I'm creating a ton of content because I want to have of course, I want to have a bigger reach,
Yes.
but I also want to have a deeper connection with the people that are my fans, you know? So I'm showing them my time lapse, like my process,
Yep.
stages. I'm writing a little bit more in the description. I'm putting stuff in like Instagram stories. I'm doing deeper like content conversations with people like right now. But like that's my goal is I want to connect with more people in a different way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what would be your goal in creating more content?
Yeah. You definitely reach. That's what we're all here for. At the end of the day, we're all here to be seen. Um, you know, but at the end of the day, like the reason I took myself out into the wild is because I could draw. I drew 100 bits of draw on 100 bits of paper and I put them in a bookshelf, and no one would ever know about it. No one would
Yes.
ever be entertained by it. No one would ever. There'd be no value to it. It's sort of giving
Mm,
value. It's possibly giving other people's work value.
yeah.
Um, you know, we've got. I think you've probably seen him as well. We've got Jonathan Edward Mills here. He does some work. I think he's entered a couple of things as well. I think.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
I was
actually
on live.
talking to him tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Is it tomorrow? Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, I was on live today. Pretty much, I knew he was active, and I'm like, all right, I've got some time. I'm going to jump on live. I'm going to do some work with him, and I was telling him about how we can. I'm going to color some of his stuff, and I was telling him about how we could skip inks on a picture and just use his line work, and he hadn't heard of that before or really seen it. And
No.
I showed him a Joe Mad example where he did it, and he's like, you know, Joe Mad's one of my favorite artists.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even realize this. So you know, and that's why I did put in your competition post as well. This is more my community. I don't know anybody who does what we do personally, so
Mm,
this
yeah.
is sort of my place to belong in a way with what we
I,
do.
I agree completely that that is actually one of my goals is I want to add to the community, the artistic community. I want people to know me as part of and add, not just like I leave comments and whatnot, but like I'm adding to the value of the artistic community, especially like the comic book amateur artist community.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. All
And,
right.
and you know, a lot of people wouldn't follow sort of artists who are just starting out and maybe aren't technically great at it. They're still learning. But you know, I'm happy to follow them because you know any of these people can grow into something that's way beyond us or anything we've seen before.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, there's a 13-year-old kid that I follow. That kid's doing the convention circuits, man.
Who is it? What's his
Ethan
name?
Ethan
Yeah.
Custom, yeah. Like that
Castillo.
kid, that kid could be the artist that our kids are reading. You know, one day.
I follow him too. He's from California here. I met him at
Yeah.
a convention.
You know, like that's the future there. You can't just dismiss people because
Well,
they're starting. You know.
yeah, I follow him. because I'm really interested in his process and his journey, because
Yeah,
I've seen him
exactly.
grow. Yeah, totally. There's a lot of value in that process growth thing.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's really good to be able to see that thing.
All right. All right. So, what else? That was the main stuff I wanted to kind of talk with you about. Was just kind of what you're working on, where you need to grow, what you've been successful at,
Yep.
um, and just generally, whatever else came up.
Yeah, and look, hopefully people can listen to it and get some value out of it and, as well, like if they're doing a project and things like perseverance is insane. Like if you really love what you're doing, you're gonna hit walls and you've got to keep pushing.
Yeah, I agree. Do you feel like that's a strength of yours?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I like, in my everyday work life and everything like that, it's
Yeah.
probably an attribute, I would say.
You said earlier that you gave up on something though. Like you got some bad feedback about issue two or something like that,
Oh,
and you're like,
I sort of did. I sort of did, but I sort of studied. I guess you can consider it studying. Like this last year of Instagram for me has been studying, and now I've gone back to
what
do
do you
it.
mean? What do you mean studying? Oh,
Well, yeah, art wise, like I've changed like significantly, massively in the last year.
right on, man.
Um, I sort of look at a lot of work and taking things away from it, and so I've never really done that before. So
That's cool. That's cool, man. I like that. All right, let me ask you one more thing. All right, you kind of mentioned a couple tools you're using. Who do you follow that you're impressed with right now? Can you think of anyone off the top of your head, or any of your followers that you like, that have really been supportive of you, or that remember? You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
I
you're
don't put you
right.
on the spot, but huh?
That's cool. Um, yeah, art of
Okay.
Jonathan Edward Mills. He's always got my back. He's almost always leaving comment there, which is
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
I've got a core of about. There's probably a core group of about 50 followers that would like almost everything that I'm doing. I did a bloody spot the other day, and it was rough, but it was very popular. It's so strange. Um, but I think I follow a lot more, I guess, concept artists than comic artists, really.
Hmm.
Or people that sort of push different boundaries in comics. They're stylistically they're a bit different. Um,
Okay. So yeah,
so
the
yeah,
art of Jonathan Edward Mills. I'm looking it up. I think it has what do you call it? The underlying things in between.
yeah, yep. He's underscored there.
How do you know him? Just from Instagram because he's been super
Just from
supportive.
Instagram. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We both like Bloodborne. Awesome game, PS4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I think he came about when we were doing the Soul Survivor competition
Okay.
as well. So yeah, be working with him soon, which is really cool.
That's awesome, man. It's interesting though that like because he and I are, I believe it was him where he and I are talking I think tomorrow night, and
Yep.
it is like a small community.
Yeah, and I'm starting to see that. I'm starting to see the circles. The circles are forming there, and
Yeah.
we look after each other there and help out and see where we can go. Push each other upwards.
Well, that's what I'm kind of hoping for here. Yeah, I just want to confirm here. I'm definitely talking to Art of Jonathan Edward Mills.
Yep.
Shit, when do we agree on? I'm getting everything mixed up. I'm getting everything mixed up. I think well, whatever. I'll record it and upload it later on. But I'm talking to him next. That's the point.
Yeah,
All
excellent.
right. Any final thoughts? I don't know. Anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, that's about it. That's about it. Like anyone listening, anyone wants to reach out, say hi, DM me, whatever. I'm sort of pretty open to
Yeah.
supporting the community and doing what I can to
Yeah. I
help
will
it.
put your contact information in the description. Um, But Luke, thank you, man, for your time. I really appreciate it. Like it was fun talking to you.
Yeah, it was cool, man. Different. Get me out of my
Yeah,
shell.
yeah. But it's I don't know. You get used to it if you do it more often, you know. But I'm still kind of feeling out my comfort level with this kind of stuff, you know. It's like still, even though I've been doing it for a little bit now.
Yeah. Yep.
But this is really fun. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
All right, man. Bye.
Catch you later.